Hello there, and welcome to this lower section video part 8 entitled The Blues as part of the Pianist in 10 Lessons series. Welcome. I'm very excited about making this video because it's a little bit jazzy, but blues, and we are going to really dig into playing interesting notes. Anything that you play on the piano when you learn music which is already written, any pop music from the last 20 years or so, since the sort of 70s, whatever, even the 60s, even the 50s, so let's say the last 50 years or more, it involves blues notes. And I'm going to highlight those for you today, and I'm also going to let you again explore your self-expression and your freedom on the piano, since we're not reading music. And you're really going to become quite a good pianist with a very subtle knowledge of the blues. As you are a beginner, but a very good beginner, a very competent beginner, with a very strong internal piano, you are going to become even better just with a few hints of the blues in your playing. So all the songs that you may learn from the last 50 years or so, including the jazz repertoire going back to the 20s, includes a bit of blues. They may be blues chords or blues notes in the melody. So there are two parts going on. You have the chords, which are a bit bluesy, and some notes, which are a bit bluesy. And the idea when you implement jazz in your playing is to highlight those bluesy things. Now, blues music itself is based on the 12-bar blues. That means that there are 12 bars, each one normally consisting of 4 beats, and it can also be 6/8. I did a video on the 6/8 rhythm, so just pop back and have a listen to the video on time signatures, and a link provided, of course, and you'll understand that. So either way, 6/8 or 4/4, we'll deal with 4/4 today, perhaps 6/8 if it happens. Dealing over 12 bars, I will give you the most common chord progression, as well as introducing you to a way to enhance that blues, because it's not so difficult, and it involves something that you already know. So we're actually going to just apply something that you already know. You don't need to think it's complicated. We'll whack it into the blues progression and just generally make your blues sound pretty bluesy and impress anyone listening. So that's the first part. So you know, the structure and the extra chords to make the blues sound better. Second part, as every video, separated into 3 parts. Second part, I'm going to introduce you to one jazz chord. And now, it is a jazz chord because it's used primarily in jazz, 99% in jazz and blues, but it really sounds good. And I think that it's going to give you an opportunity to just expand your normal octave knowledge to just one extra note. The chord is going to be the 13th chord, should you wish to pause the video now and go and have a look somewhere else. Of course, I have a video on my jazz piano playlist about extensions, which basically means any chord which involves a note outside the octave. We haven't even talked about that yet, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to confuse you with that yet at all. You need to learn everything from the 10 videos first before you even start the jazz series. But I will give you one just to make your blues sound a bit more exciting, the 13th chord. But I have a jazz video, I guess I'll link to it here. It's called Extensions, and there are 3 extensions, a 9th and 11th and a 13th, and we're just going to look at the 13th today. If you are interested in more, or you happen to have a basic understanding already, go and have a look at that video. So that's that, and the final part, I'm going to give you a nice way to play the blues, a nice way of thinking, which saves you from being completely lost. And that is called, the very popular title, the popular way of playing blues is the call and response. This appears everywhere in books, and I completely agree with it. I think it really is the best way to learn the blues. It gives you a structure. In other words, I'm not going to go into it now in great detail, but what it means is you play a melody or a little idea, which may be 2 notes or 1 note or 20 notes if you're Oscar Peterson, and then you're going to respond to that with another melody. And by playing with this call and response idea, it helps you to give a structure to your blues without getting lost. So part 3 is going to be also quite interesting, and I'm also going to show you the interesting blues notes to make your playing interesting, and I suppose I'll pick out a few songs to demonstrate that in. along with a few techniques here and there. So the video is going to be quite interesting. So that's the introduction out of the way. Let's have a look at part 1, which is the 12-bar blues plus some extra chord theory, which is based on something that you already know. So let's get going. The 12-bar blues. First of all, of course, I will play it. You are to feel it. I recommend that you go and listen to other videos, even backing tracks, just to look for 12-bar blues backing tracks in a major key, not in a minor key. Even though it's the same thing, but it just sounds it's a bit more popular and common to play it in a major key. So go and listen to some 12-bar blues backing tracks, or just some songs which are blues, some B.B. King stuff, Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff, even some jazz songs really, but stick to the blues. So I'm going to play it for you in its most basic form, and I'll write it on the video so you can see it, what I'm doing, which will take a bit of editing, but it will have been done by the time you watch this. So I'll do it in the key of C, which is a demonstration key. You will have to learn the blues in the key of C, in the key of F, and in the key of B flat, because it's a very common key to play the blues in. But we'll deal with it in the C. So I'll play it now, and I'll give you the chords and the structure on the screen in some white letters for you, or black, whatever works in the end, probably white. So let's go. So I'll give it an introductory count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bar 1 of the 12 will begin. And I'll do that from G, because as you know, going up a fourth is how you begin a song or end a song. It gives you that closing feeling. That upper fourth, or down a fifth, same thing. Look at the video on circular fourths. I think it's number 4 or 5. It's in there somewhere. So here we go. So from G, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then starting on the key of C. This is just for you to feel it. I'll do a simple walking bass over the triad of the chord of C, and then of F, which is the 4th, and then of G, which is the 5th. I'm going to play it first, and then I'll discuss it. Starting on G, going 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play it again just so you can feel it. That is it. I played it twice there. You need to feel this. Now, there is a way to enhance that, which I'm going to go into just after I've explained the blues structure itself generally. So, what are we doing? Blues is normally based with dominant 7th chords. It is almost impossible to hear a major 7th chord in the blues. Imagine this. Suddenly playing a major 7th sounds very strange with that blues. Dominant 7, major 7. Doesn't work. The romantic chord, the major 7th, doesn't work. So we need to play, first of all, a dominant 7th chord. The blues also works with minor 7th chords. So in the key of C, that would be C, E flat, G and B flat. Because, as you're going to see in a moment, the scale used in the blues involves the minor and the dominant 7th. I'm going to go into that in just a moment. And it just sounds nice. So, what is the 12-bar blues involving? We're going up a 4th and then going up a 5th. So it goes C, or I should say 1, because it doesn't matter what key we're in. C, F, all 7th chords. C for 2, F for 2, and then you continue the piece again. So you're basically going from C, or the 1, to the F, which is 4, back to the C, up to the F, to C again, up to the G, the 5, down to the 4, the F, and back to the C. And then one quick G to finish that 12th bar, going back to C again, which is going up a 4th or down a 5th if you like, if you prefer. So, how can we make that sound more interesting? Well, at the end you can put 6-2-5-1. Now you know 6-2-5-1 from the modal stuff, and I think I've talked about this as a chord progression in all songs. Video 5 was called Cordially Yours, link provided, and in there I talk about the most popular chord progressions. Now you can put 6-2-5-1 in the blues. Please don't feel that we're going ahead of anything, because between each video, from watching video 7 to 8 to 9, this is number 8 of course, you will be spending days and days and weeks on this. So once you've internalised the normal 12-bar blues, only then will you feel comfortable implementing the 6-2-5-1. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it right away. So let me just do with the 6-2-5-1, and again on the screen I will write the structure so you can follow it. So just have a look at this. We'll do a G, 2, 3, 4 introduction again, and I will play 7th chords on the 6, 2, 5 and 1. What is the 6th of C? The A. The 2 is the D, the 5 is the G, and the C is the 1. So let's do that. Six, 2, 5, and then now at the end of here, because there are still 2 bars left, we simply share the 2 bars over 4 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just do 6, 6, 2, 2, 5, 5, 1, 1. So I wrote that on the page, you can listen again, but I'll just do it now without stopping. Six, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5. Start again. That's the idea. So, what are we going to play over those? First of all, let me give you the chord of a 13th. So this is part 2. Part 1 was quite quick. It was only 10 minutes or less, 9 minutes perhaps, because the 12-bar blues simply is 12 bars of 3 chords. If you want to make it more complicated, you put the 6-2-5-1 at the end, and that's it. There's nothing to say. I don't want to overcomplicate things. So all you need to do is internalise that. If you're interested in what I'm doing in the left hand, all I'm doing is playing the 1, 3, 5, the triad, and normally the 6th with the C7 chord. Sometimes I might play the D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a C9 chord. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I want to focus on the 13th. So all I'm doing is just going. Well, I'm not doing anything. My fingers are. Sometimes I'll walk chromatically between the C and the F. I might chromatically fall down from the G to the F. I might just play around here. If you don't lose time, it doesn't matter what your left hand does. I'm not thinking about what my left hand is doing, it's just playing something. I'm not thinking about it. All I'm doing is playing notes, and chromatically I'm playing notes which are in the key of the chord I'm playing, and then I'll chromatically walk to the next chord root. So that's something to play with. So this 13th chord, 2 numbers make 13. That is 7 and 6. Those 2 notes are within an octave, but because they are next to each other, they sound a bit mushy. So you need to separate them. That is all you're doing on a 13th. You're separating the 7th, the dominant 7th, not the major 7th, and the 6th. If you do that, there's a big space in the middle. And every chord, of course, you need to know if it's major or minor, and that's dictated by the 3rd. Fortunately, when you put the 7th on the bottom in the key of C, and the 6th, the A, on top, there's a big space in the middle for the third. That is a 13th, what's called voicing. I have voiced the chord. I've given it a voice. Now I could just play the chord C, E, G, B flat, which is C7, and then put the 13 on top, as if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The 13th is still part of the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're playing a dominant 7th, but 7 in the major scale. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Sounds nice, but because that's too many notes, we are simply removing all the bottom notes and only playing the 7 third. You could call this 8, 9, 10, but that's ridiculous. It's just a third. And the 6th on top, which is the 13th. 6 and 13 are the same number. So all you need to do is find the 6 and the dominant 7 and put the 6th on top, and it becomes a 13 because it's gone outside the octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then put the third in the middle. That's all you need to do. That shape works all the way down the piano, and that is a blues chord. It's a jazz chord, but it works nicely in the blues. Now I don't play it in the key of C because it's a bit too low, but I will play it in F. In fact I did when I played this. So now, okay, so what I'm doing here is playing E flat, which is the dominant 7th of F. 5, 6, major 7, dominant 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, same number. E flat, A, D, in the key of F. So, sounds nice, no? Just sounds a bit more advanced. Now I'm going to the 6th. Now, how about this? Why not play the 6th as a 13th? Key of A. You know all the major chords, you know all the major scales, you know the triads, you know the chord types. All you're going to do is take the scale of A, take the major 7th and flatten it for the dominant 7, play the 3rd in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on top, which is technically the 13th, because this is 1. So you've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, major 7, dominant 7, because it's blues, dominant 7ths, major 7ths don't exist in blues, 8, 9, 10, which is basically the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 4, 5, 6. Now that sounds nice, listen to that. Let me play this chord, which is G, C sharp, F sharp in the key of A. This is A, 13. So a quick way to find it is to play the dominant 7th, which is a whole tone lower than the key you're in, and then just put the 3rd and the 6th on top. You have to learn them. This will take a few days, but you will learn them and you will know them. There's nothing to worry about. So, key of C, F, F. Now I'm going to go to A, 13. Nice, no? Nice. Now we can play a D7. Now G, let's play a 13th here. What is a G? Sorry, the camera's moving due to my cat. Let's play a G13. Dominant 7th, whole tone below, 3rd, 1, 2, 3, and then the 6th on top, 4, 5, 6, which is technically the 13th, but 6 and 13 are the same. This is a chord shape of voicing that you will never forget because you will use it so much. So let's do that. So we actually did the chords that I've just told you, and it sounds very nice and bluesy. Now, a lot of the focus is on the left hand here, and I hope you can take away a few things that I'm talking about here. But blues is primarily from the right hand, because seventh chords exist everywhere in songs. 13ths can exist in many, many jazz songs. But the blues notes, what really makes the blues is the blues notes. How do you know what the blues notes are? We need to know the blues scale. So I'm going to show you the blues scale, which is very, very, very simple to remember. Once you've got the visualization of it, you will never forget it. Then you need to take it from the block, you know, the 12-note block, and you need to just be able to just run across it, across all the keys. And you'll just see where it is, you'll just automatically see it. So I'm going to give you the blues scales in C, F, G, then I'm going to tell you a little secret about playing the blues scales against the chords. So let's imagine that there's a bass player doing the bass. And you're going to have to do some stuff in the right hand which sounds bluesy. What are we going to do? I now give you the blues scale part 3, call and response. So, with the call and response, take notes of the blues scale. What is the blues scale? The blues scale is the root, the minor third. The minor third is a blues note, even when the chord is a normal third. It clashes, but it sounds bluesy. Listen. Normal third, minor note in the melody. Sounds very nice. So, root, minor third, fourth. Can you hear that? Just those 3 notes sound bluesy, yes. Now, the most bluesy note of all. I absolutely love blues, so I get a bit passionate about it, but that's good. That note. Now listen to that. This is the flat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flat. And you may notice earlier that I just slid from the E flat, the minor, to the third. You can do that because you're playing it in the chord. This is just the blues scale. Doesn't mean that you only play those notes, of course. You can play notes just either side of them. So that's nice, I like that. Listen to that. See what I mean? It really hits that blues note. If you don't get passionate about that, it's going to be difficult to play the blues. Next note is the 5th. Great note. Falling from the 5th to the flat 5 to the 4 is a really bluesy thing to do. See what I mean? Nice note, very nice note. The 5. Next note is the dominant 7th, which you know already because it's in the chord. The B flat. And that is the last note because the next note is the C, which you're already playing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back again to the beginning. Now this is an easy scale in the key of C to recognise because look at this, it's a big triangle. It sounds a bit childish, but it's very, very true. Big triangle. Oh, you can't see anything there. Big triangle, up and down, then a little triangle, and then a big triangle again. that is an easy shape to see, and then you just duplicate that up the 12-note blocks. With a nice bluesy dominant 7th chord there. Now, in the key of F, I shall give you the scale. It is the root, the minor, the 4, the flat 5, the 5, the dominant 7, and the root again. It's nice to flatten the 3rd, the minor, and then play the 3rd normal after. Sounds very good. Nice, in the key of G with a 13th. Nice. C7. Lovely sounds. Only the notes of the blues scale. So that's what we want to do. Now, call and response is just an excellent way to be able to start playing and using these chords. Now, I said I was going to tell you a secret, and that's going to come in right now. The secret is you can play one blues scale, which is the scale of, for example, the C in this C blues, and that scale will work with all the associated blues chords. So, if I just play the chords like this, all the notes of the blues scale will work with the C, with the F, with the G 13, for example. They'll work with the A13, they'll work with the D7, they'll work with the G13, I said that already, and of course they'll work with the C. So what you want to do in the beginning, just to get used to it, is to make some call and response ideas only using the major blues scale, well, the blues scale of the root of the key that you're playing in. If you're playing in the key of F, then you'll only use the scale of F, because the logic. See, I've gone up a 4th, just like C went up to F a 4th. F has gone up to B flat a 4th, as if we're playing in the key of F. So C, the 5th. Nice. Just playing the blues scale of F, and it works with the associated chords. So interesting how that works. Nice little secret. So in the key of C, I'll just do some nonsense using the blues scale of C, and we'll see what happens. Quite easy. Of course, what you want to do in your own practice time is to mix the blues scales. So when you are playing C, when you go to the key of F, you will play the blues scale in F, and then come back to C again. And even in the key of A, blues scale in A, can you not feel that blues? Lovely sound. Let's have a look at the blues scale in A. Root, minor, 4th, flat 5, 5, dominant 7 root. Just internalise that picture. So when we go to the key of C, when we go from C to the key of A, now I could play the D blues scale, but it's safe to play the C blues scale against this D7, so I've just come back to looking at the C blues. Now in the key of G, I can of course play the blues scale of C, or I can play G's blues scale. Root, minor third, fourth, flat 5, 5, dominant 7, root. You just need to get used to the shapes, just feel it. I'm not even thinking about what I'm playing here. And of course the flat 5, the flat 9, oh Jesus, the flat third, the minor, can slide up to the normal third. Always a nice thing to do. Got the F on top there, the dominant 7, just off screen because I need to focus down here a little bit more in this particular video. So in the key of C again, let's do a walking bass this time. So let me just see what happens. Blues scale in F. Back to C. A. G. I'm just doing some basic stuff here, only playing the scales so you can just get a feel for it. Let's have a look at this call and response concept now. Occasionally I play the A13 in there. Call and response is basically that how you play a melody. I'm doing it a bit now. Play a melody, respond to it. Let's pick out some nice riffs, completely improvised. All I'm doing is looking at the notes and highlighting those blues notes. For example, the flat 5, the minor third, the dominant 7. That can be our call. The feeling of the blues will come over time as you listen to it more and more. So let's go from G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that was my call. So I might respond to that by going. That was nice. Oh, sorry. I'm crushing the note just before my target note, which is the minor, because it's in the blues scale, and I'm crushing it a semitone below. Sounds nice. This is not a blues scale note, I'm just using it to crush against that note. Or like this. Crush it twice. So what did I do? Again, sorry, I'm looking at the computer sometimes to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Let's go up an octave. Now we're in the key of F. So you see what I did? I duplicated my call and response. Let's do it with a walking bass. So that's a nice thing in C. Let's do something in F. I could even stay on the same notes because I'm allowed to use the blues scale in C over all the chords. But of course the value will change. At the moment, in the key of C, the E flat is the minor. In the key of F, that physical E flat note becomes the dominant 7th. So the value, the tonal quality is going to change. This was the 7th in C. It's now going to become the 4th in F. But that's still part of the blues scale here. Still in the blues scale. So that's going to work. C is the root in C, but it's the 5th in F. So. Let's continue. Continue. these notes in the key of D. It becomes a bit complicated to overanalyze because it doesn't matter, it sounds good. But what am I doing? I'm playing the third, perfectly safe note to play, in the key of D. I'm playing the minor, which is in the blues scale, so that works. Now the E flat you would call a flat 9 because it's 8, 9 flattened. Ignore that. That's just a note. So forget that. This is C. This is the dominant 7th of the D. Perfectly acceptable note. And this is the sharpened 5th or the flattened 6th. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. It's just one note you're playing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's still acceptable. Sounds good. So from A, D, it just sounds right because it's in context. It's not like you're writing a piece of music and going like this, because it sounds terrible. You're not playing it as a piece of music. You're not composing a piece. You're just playing some nice blues. It just works in context. That's the important part here. So let's just do another little call and response, highlighting the blues notes. Let's highlight the dominant 7 and maybe the 6th this time, because the 6th is also the 13th, which is a nice note. And let's do something with the A and the B flat, because these notes are together. They make up the 13th chord. So maybe rather in the key of C, let's simply do something here. But instead of just playing B flat G E, let's slide from the flat 5. Why not? Oh. That's nice. Now the F13. The D is the 13th, the dominant 7th is E flat. So let's do something here. Something like that. I'm playing the root and the A. These are just part of the chord. Just highlighting again the 6th and the dominant 7th up here. There's a D and an E flat. Nice. Quite interesting. So let's go from the C. It kind of works, no? Now I'm going to repeat a nice melody. I can continue in A, continue in D, and in the G. Let's pick another one. Same thing in F. I've duplicated my idea. So what I was doing there was just, that was more of a technique. I was just flashing the chord out suddenly. And then even in A, I did an A13 quickly. Played a D, played a G13. I was flashing the chord quickly, so my call and response became what I was calling was my response. Doing the same thing in F. I could do it over 2 or 3 octaves. Let me just do F again. A13, D7, G13, A13, D7, G7. this left hand rhythm I'm doing. This is called shuffle. You're highlighting the root and the 5th and the 6th. This doesn't really work with the turnaround with that 6, 2, 5, 1. It's a bit too much. So you just normally do this over the 1, 4, 5. I think that's a pretty good look at the blues. Just to conclude the video, you understand the 12-bar blues, standard C, F, G, or 1, 4, 5. You can add the 6, 2, 5, 1 towards the end, around bar 8 or so, or 6 rather, or 8, whatever it is, and you can play a 13th chord to enhance the sound. You can play it on the key of C in the beginning, so sounds nice. See, I'm sliding off that minor onto the 3rd. Playing it in F, back to C, back to A. Even in D, if I want to play a 13th, I can just play the D13, which is C, dominant 7, F, the 3rd, B, the 6th on top, and then G13 here, and back to C again. But you don't want to overdo that. Those chords are normally what you would play in the left hand if somebody else was playing in the left, playing a bass down here. But if you have a bass player or you have a program to do that, that would be great. Or you can layer record. Of course, I can layer record on here, but the sound doesn't transfer to the computer, so you have to kind of feel it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Highlighting the blues note there. I'll give you a nice ending, which is simply this. You can work out the chords yourself, but I'll just give you the notes. D flat, F, B flat, well, A sharp, B, and E flat. And then a semitone drop, which is E, A, B flat, D. Maybe you can work out that chord because it's exactly the same chord in D flat as it is in C. And you can do that by doing this. It's a nice way to finish. A nice little blues if you're playing one. I just occurred to me actually that I said I was going to show you how you can use blues notes in songs, and although I could go into that for quite a long time and give you lots of examples, I think it's not actually worthwhile, because whilst you're going to be playing the blues and you're going to be noticing these blues scales, because you know that you can play the blues over minor 7th chords. So let's have a look at D minor 7. You can play the D blues over this because all the notes are in it already. The 7th, the 5th, the minor, and the root. I mean, most of them are there already. Sounds nice. G13, play the G blues. This is a 13th chord. You can play it over a 7th chord. It's C7. Of course, you know that. We've just done it for the last half an hour. But not over blues. Not over major 7th chords, of course. So, if you find a song such as "Fly Me to the Moon," which is an excellent demonstration song because it just uses the 6, 2, 5, 1 in the key of C. You could play that in a completely bluesy way. So learn your A blues, your D blues, which is the same shape, your G blues, and your C blues, and it will sound very nice. Now when it goes up to F, that's a major 7th. You can't put blues there, so you should highlight the major 7th note really. The E is the major 7th in the key of F. Then it goes to D minor 7, I think. Yes, D minor 7th, so you can go back into the blues over the D minor 7th chord. Sounds nice. Then it goes to E7, play the E blues. E, A and D blues scales have exactly the same shape. E, D, A, the same shape. So the song goes into the E blues there. Down into A minor 7. Then it goes actually up to the dominant 7th with a normal 3rd. But the blues still works. You can really make a song sound really nice with the blues without actually having to mix or learn anything too new, to be honest. So focus on your blues scales in C, F, G, E flat, B flat if you want, but at least C, F and B flat. And learn the 13th voicing and have a little think about the call and response idea. Highlight the interesting notes, which are the minor 3rd, sliding to the 3rd if you want. It's a nice thing to do. Sliding to the 3rd, and then the flat 5 is the other one, and the dominant 7th, and if you want, the 6th, which is also the 13th. But that also works in a blues piece, so that's the one extra interesting note for you in this video. Thanks so much for watching. Questions welcome. Don't forget my jazz piano ebook if you are interested, and I will see you in lesson 9, which I'm very, very excited about because I already know what I'm going to be talking about. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.